My husband's ex-wife and kids hate me, and I'm not fond of them either. They all think I'm the reason they can't get back together, even though she's the one who cheated, and I didn't meet him until he was in the middle of their divorce negotiations. His kids were rude to me, and when I was pregnant with our first child, they told me I should hurry and get an abortion before it was too late. Anyway, during the divorce negotiations, my husband voluntarily gave up the paid-off house so that his kids wouldn't have to move schools. He agreed to pay child support beyond what the courts would have imposed, and his alimony amount is more than her salary. In return, she agreed to wait to sell the house or move until the youngest was 18. Something happened and she sold the house and moved into an apartment. This past weekend, he came and asked if I would object to him buying her another house because she's missing out on her time with the kids. They refused to stay in her cramped apartment. I said no and that she needed to live with the consequences of her bad decisions. He begged, but I stood my ground. I reminded him that we have a child together and another on the way. Any money he spends on his ex is taking away from their future. His ex reached out to his parents and now they're on my case about making their grandkids homeless. It feels like everyone is making me out to be the wicked stepmother and I'm the crazy one. I can't be the only one to think it's crazy for a husband to buy his ex a house. Am I the idiot for not letting my husband buy a house for his ex and kids? Not the idiot. So the ex had a fully paid up house, a job and alimony, which was more than her salary, but she still sold her house and now wants another one, fully paid up too. What happened to the money she got from selling the house? Why is it your fault when she's the one who sold the house? Also, your stepkids are not homeless. They have 2 houses. They just don't like either. You need to focus on yourself and your kids. Your husband needs some common sense. If your in-laws think she should have a new house, they can buy her one. The husband and in-laws need to realize OP's 2 kids with the husband also need the financial security of a dual-income home. The ex was receiving her salary, spousal support, and child support. Property taxes and utilities should be less than a mortgage or rent, so what money troubles did the ex have that required her to sell her paid-off home? Maybe it's time for OP to remind the in-laws her kids are just as much their grandkids too, and she can just as quickly pull the same crap as the ex. What worries me is that the husband is so focused on a house for his kids that he's lost sight that his ex may not be a suitable person to raise these kids. That money went somewhere. Whenever anyone bugs OP about buying a new house, she should answer with, "She had a house, what did she do with the money?" I'm betting gambling or drugs. If those sorts of things are not addressed, then the next house will be sold too. I feel like he's throwing money into a fire for her. The ex is getting a salary, alimony, and the full proceeds of a paid-off house, yet she's living in a cramped apartment? Unless she has an undisclosed source of debt, the math isn't mathing. I would caution OP to make sure her finances are either separate or well monitored. Possibly even gets a written agreement that no money she makes or account she contributes to will be used in a purchase above a certain amount with her agreement, something to protect her and, quite frankly, the financial security of all the kids. Honey, I'd keep an eye out because I reckon he will do it behind your back. Update: no one is sure why she had to sell the house. She and my husband argued for weeks after it was already done. All we know for sure is that she doesn't have much left after the sale. The house was fully paid off with no liens. He transferred full ownership to her, so she was solely responsible for the taxes and maintenance. His kids have been living with us for a month and we've settled into a silent routine. I don't try to mother them and they ignore me. We provide them with the same food we eat and whatever else they need. My husband parents them. The low-end price of a house in our area and within their schools is about $300,000. I can deal with the situation until they're all 18 and out of the house, if it means we're not spending at least $300,000. My husband and I make about the same. We have our joint account and separate accounts. If he does buy her another house, it will be only with his money, so it won't affect me financially. However, what if he loses his job soon afterward, has an accident where he can no longer work, or any of the other reasons I don't want to happen but have to plan for our children? They had an agreement and she broke it. But there's nothing my husband can do about it now. He can't sue for full custody because the kids live full-time with us. He's not paying child support since they are and she's not arguing about that. He can't sue her for the house or money she doesn't have. Context: my wife, 29, always makes the kids' Halloween costumes. We have 3 kids, a female kindergartner, a male pre-tween and a male tween. She didn't have a fantastic childhood, and so she's constantly trying to make sure our kids do. She home makes every birthday cake, DIYs the birthday decorations, makes pajamas for every holiday, and always makes the Halloween costumes. She also does these theme monthly movie nights, where she creates this whole scene. For example, this month was Coraline. She made custom dolls for each kid, a welcome home cake, and the whole food spread. This is all great, but the problem is she expects me to help. All our kids are in activities, we both have full-time careers, and I believe she stretches herself thin trying to do all this and also expects me to. We have the money to just go out and buy stuff, so I don't get why we have to do so much. She says these are the things the kids will remember. Anyway, this all came to a head as I've been out of town most of the month for work, so she's had to shoulder the full responsibility of the kids. This caused her to be behind in making the costumes, and she was stressed. She was asking me if I'd be able to create one of the costumes for her. She has the supplies and can walk me through it. The problem is I just don't feel like it. I told her we could go get a cheap costume, it's not a big deal. Well, she refused and was up all night finishing these costumes. I told her this morning that they look awesome, and she just rolled her eyes. She was making coffee and I asked if she'd make me a cup, and she replied, "Go buy one." She's been distant and cold. I was talking to my co-worker and he called me out, saying my wife is right. My kids will remember the effort my wife put in, and then also remember how hard I made it for her. Now I'm feeling like maybe I am the idiot. But at the same time, I usually do help a bit. I was thinking this one time wouldn't be a big deal since we were both tired. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot. I was on the fence until the "I don't feel like it" and the coffee comment. I mean, really, Guy? You were away for a month and she had to deal with the kids herself, then she asked for help, and rather than you guys ordering food, putting some music on, and having a night together finishing the costume, you decided it wasn't worth the effort. The worst part was the audacity of asking her to pour or make you a coffee the following morning when you knew she'd been up all night stressing. It's about making things work and being there when we see our partner struggling, including when we're burnt out. You could have had a nice night with your missus and you fudged it. She might be a bit over the top when it comes to going the extra mile for your kids, but isn't that what makes it magical? As someone who grew up with a crappy childhood, I applaud her efforts. It was the coffee that was the chef's kiss in this situation. Ha ha, I actually laughed out loud when I read that. That is a really good quip from the wife. She's behind because she's been working a full-time career and parenting your kids by herself for a whole month without any of your help. And she asks you to help with one thing and you complain because you're tired? Really? The fact that your worker is acting as a better husband than you should be scary for you. Update. Okay, I'm the idiot. I'll apologise and see if she needs help with anything else. However, I'm positive half the parents commenting don't do these things and still think they're doing a great job. My thing is, I had a fantastic childhood. I love my mom and appreciate everything she did, and she did none of this. I think my wife is putting some of her own wants first. She loves magic, she loves imagination, and she wants the kids almost to feel like they're in a movie, but they're not, and that's okay. My husband's brother lives out of state with his family and they come a few times a year to visit, either staying with mother-in-law or with us. For the most part, I love having them here. My issue might seem petty, but it's been going on for so long now it feels malicious. I don't know, maybe I'm insane, so I'm here. So we have a bathroom in the foyer where I keep my good towels meant for hand washing to look pretty. A couple of years ago, when we first started this again after the global issue, sister-in-law went into that bathroom instead of the guest bath stocked for her family and would use these towels to clean off her makeup, leaving black stains all over them. I didn't even realise this until after they left because she stuffed them all in the laundry basket and then replaced them. The next time they came, I made sure to stock their bathroom with plenty of other towels and said these are for drying our hands only. I made it a thing where I was showing the kids but made sure she heard. It's the same thing, she used them to clean up when her kids spilled stuff, wipe her makeup, etc. I went to Target, bought a bunch of small towels and said to brother-in-law feel free to use these. The only time he'd used them was when one of the kids cut themselves badly, and I understood that because it was an emergency, but also RIP a beautiful white towel. So then, the last time they were here a few months ago, I didn't even put out the good white towels, and the second day she'd gone into the linen closet and pulled some out. She said she won't get makeup on them, but that all the other towels irritate her skin. Now they're talking about coming for the holidays, and I told my husband she has to promise not to use my good towels. My husband asked if I was serious, and I said yes, seriously. He said, oh, so he should have just let the kid bleed, and I said I didn't care that time, but sister-in-law uses them, I feel like on purpose. I said either tell them that, or I'm hiding the towels, and then you'll see, and he thinks I'm nuts. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. At this point, either it's malicious or she has really sensitive skin and expects to use your good towels instead of supplying her own. I say hide them when they come, not just in the linen closet like in your room or something, but that doesn't really solve the problem of disrespect for not just following your clear wishes in your home. I just don't understand the rudeness of people. Who does that? OP, simply remove her access to your good towels, bag them up and put them on the trunk of your car if needed, and leave them at work, with a friend, and when asked where they are, just say you bought new ones. There's more going on here. It sounds like she's jealous of you or your home. Is there a financial or lifestyle discrepancy between your households? Your sister-in-law is intentionally ruining your towels. What else is she doing when you're not watching? If they come back, I'd install cameras in the common areas. Your sister-in-law can scrub her super sensitive skin with something from a 20-pack of rags in the automotive department at Walmart when at your house, or bring her own damn towels. This isn't about towels. Sister-in-law is fuming with great anger and taking it out on the towels. Get cameras, OP. Please put all of your good things and valuables out of her reach, like at your parents' home or the home of a friend or neighbour. If she doesn't have any towels to wreck, she'll find something else that is nasty to do. Right now, your husband thinks that you're an alarmist. He'll feel differently if she does something in front of a camera. This behaviour seems beyond even the meanest of the mean girls. Something is really wrong with sister-in-law, and it could escalate. I love my wife. She's an incredible person who shines, but she has a flaw. She's a terrible driver. If there were a prize for the person who crashed the most in the garage, she would have won by far. She could crash a new car 5 minutes after buying it, and it's very common for her to scrape her car over the course of the year. At home, we have my car and her car. I recently bought my dream car 2 months ago, and I only drive it alone. She bought hers last year. The situation: Saturday, my wife hit a pole. Don't ask how. She wasn't hurt, but the car will need to be repaired for 20 plus days. Normally, when this happens, I give her a ride to work. This week I'm going on a business trip, so I won't be able to help, and here comes the problem that I don't want her to drive my car in the meantime because it's new, and I'm afraid something will happen because any repairs are expensive to my car. She was bringing up the subject of picking up my car for the week since the car would be free. I sat down with her and, in a more affectionate way, said that I would prefer her to take an Uber every day for whatever she needed that I would pay for, as I didn't want to run the risk of her scratching the new car. She didn't handle it well, saying that it was ridiculous that she had to order Uber when she had a car parked in the garage, and that it was ridiculous that I didn't allow her to drive the family car. I stood my ground and she accepted it, but she was upset with me for doing it. And no, she's not using the car while I travel. And yes, I wouldn't mind lending her the car if she was a better driver. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but I almost want to say you are the idiot for allowing her to drive. Not that she needs your permission, but I'm shocked you haven't insisted that she not drive until she can do so safely. I would be highly concerned for her safety, and others if I were in your position. I mean, she's a grown woman, so there's nothing he can really do. I'm just baffled that the conversation is, I don't feel comfortable with you driving my car since you keep damaging yours, and not, I'm worried about you driving any car since you keep getting into accidents. She just hit a pole. I'm surprised she hasn't been seriously injured yet. Oh, and I want to know what their insurance premiums are. I'm guessing they don't report the vast majority of it, which is why she still has insurance. OP, it's your car, not a family car. She's a horrible driver. Sounds like she shouldn't be behind the wheel at all. Make sure all sets of car keys are with you while you're away. Better still, please don't leave your car at home. Park it somewhere else. Take the keys with you. She will 100% drive it just to say, see, I drove it and everything is okay. If she is this kind of reckless driver, I wouldn't let her drive my car either. I wouldn't even buy new cars for her if they need to be repaired this many times. She has to see how bad she is at it. I don't know if you guys have kids, but honestly, she needs to take more driver lessons. Someday her bad driving could end very badly.